Hey everybody, welcome to the video. My name's Steve, and if you're new to my channel at the moment, what we are doing, we are following the purchase of my 718 Cayman GTS 4 litre through its 5-stage process on the Porsche app. We have been stuck at point 3 because that is it's been scheduled for production, and we haven't made it to point 4 yet because point 4 is the car being built and being on its way to me. Now, I haven't made any videos in between this and the last one because I don't want to keep doing updates about it being delayed, because as you can see, I'm not sitting in the car. If I had it, I'd be showing you it. Unfortunately, it has been delayed again. Now, before I get onto that and talk about the dates on that, I just wanted to take a little look at the second-hand market, because in the middle of me waiting for this car to come, I'm basing the fact on me taking delivery of this car that I might actually be carrying a little bit of a premium on it for a while before I actually start to eat into any sort of cost appreciation. You'll know if you've been watching my channel for a while, back in September of 21, I actually sold my 992. I'd had it for 18 months, and at that point, the prices actually appreciated to new for all prices. I was expecting to be sitting on a loss at that point in my car. I didn't expect to sell it. I thought I'd be keeping it at least until the finance ended after 3 years. But I decided to trade it in at the point that it was worth the same as it was new after 18 months, because I thought, well, I'll just use the money to buy another one. Hey ho, went to go and order one, and everybody knows what happened. I didn't manage to get the new 992 because the queues were so long. I decided to put my name down on a 718 Cayman. Unfortunately enough, I did actually get a build slot on that with my dealer. However, it took until earlier this year. I did get my build slot, but I've been sitting now since the beginning of May waiting for this car to be built, and it has been pushed back. So at the minute, the question that's interesting to me is, while I'm still waiting for this car, what is happening with the second-hand market? Because part of my strategy of getting this car and waiting for a new one was the hope that I was going to be carrying some sort of extra premium residual value on it while I actually drove it. So I've been on to Auto Trader and had a look at the cars in the UK, and I've been seeing whether there is actually any 4-litre GTS 718s kicking around, because in previous days when I've looked, there hasn't really been any on the market. Nobody's been parting with these cars, but as time's moved on, the car's been out a couple of years now, the 4-litre version, and it looks like some have started to hit the market. So if we head over to Auto Trader, I'll show you some of the cars that I've found. The top one at the list we can see is a Porsche dealer used car, which is at 88,500. It's a 2022 car and a 71 reg, which in the UK likely means the car was registered somewhere between beginning of January and the end of February before the 22 plates came out here. It's done 5,000 miles, so somebody's got a few miles under the belt before they've traded that car back in, so maybe they took delivery and spun it straight back into the dealer. If we go down, you can see that the top 4 cars are dealer cars. The first one that's not a dealer car is 5th at £80,000. Now, if we go and have a look and see what the last page of this is, I've spun through already and had a quick look. There is actually about 10, 12 cars on here, I think, before we actually run out of 4 litres. And if we look down, the cheapest 2 there, so you can see this one here has actually been put up. It's a 2.5. The rest of them are 2.5. So we'll come back up. The cheapest 4-litre that we've got here is this white one. So the 2 cheap ones are not at dealers, they're at specialists, and they're both in just under the 70 grand mark. Now we'll take a little look at the yellow one. I think this one's a little bit lower priced, although it's a 70 reg, which means it's coming up to being 2 years old. If you have a look at the outside, it's yellow, but it's got the more expensive wheels on. But if we go inside the car, you can see this car is red. So I'm wondering if possibly it's priced due to the unique color combination that might not be to everybody else's tastes. And as you can see there, it's also got the manual gear stick. So 70,000, yellow's a free paint color. Full red leather, manual gearbox. That's possibly a like-for-like price-ish without me having a good look into it. I have actually done a comparison, and I've done it on this car here, which is this 80,000 one. I've ran it through the Porsche configurator to see if I can get the spec to the same as what it is on the car as it's described, plus I've checked the photos over. So if we take a look, you can see that on this picture I've got the spec in there, and the total recommended retail price is a shade under 80,000. So that's the car new. It's going to have about £2,000 road tax on it. If it was brand new and you're buying it at the dealer now, the person that comes and buys this car used in the UK is going to be paying just about £500 with it being 2 years old. So for the next 2 or 3 years they'd pay £500 on it if they took it on now. So yeah, I think at the moment, looking at them cars, without doing all of them, it seems like they're still kind of trying to sell them new for raw prices on the forecourt, regardless at the minute of how old they are, because it's difficult to get the cars. And you could see that those 2 4-litre ones there, they were like 2 years old now. So I'm fingers crossed when I do eventually take delivery of this car, I will get some drive time out of it where I don't actually hit any residual depreciation. I did get the car at the lower price that I bought it at when I put the deposit down. So hopefully that's still going to be in the case when I eventually do get this car and they don't try to pull a fast one on me. But yeah, let's talk about when it is actually going to come. So back when I did point 3 and I thought I had my build slot nailed down, the original dates this car was supposed to come by was it was supposed to start around the middle of May, about the 15th. And it was supposed to hit its first checkpoint of I am finished off the production line at the end of May. And I was fingers crossed hoping to see this car in the middle of June at the earliest. It seems like it's been pushed back twice, because I was going to come back to you and update you middle of last month with what was happening, but I thought I would wait and make sure that this time it had actually been built. Now, my salesman's been away from the dealer. I was going to wait until he came back and just let him give me the update, but it turns out he isn't back yet. So I asked somebody else and they were honest with me today, and they've said that it has been pushed back to the middle of this month, which is July. So its build schedule is now to start on the 15th, finish by the end of July, and maybe they'll see it somewhere in the middle of August. Maybe, maybe not. So at the moment, we're now actually running to about 11 months when it's due for delivery for this car to turn up from the day that I put the deposit down. That was earlier on before things started to get delayed. I've got caught up in them delays. Now I'm actually at the front of the queue with a build slot. So anybody else that's waiting for their cars, you might find that has a knock-on effect, or it might be by the time you're getting your cars, they might have caught up. Parts might be more available, people might have dropped out of the list waiting for cars, and you might find yourself further up. So who knows, crystal ball. Hopefully this time round my car is actually on time. I'll put a video up if it does come early, if I suddenly get a part 4 on my app and I get a build slot finished and it's actually got some photos and things with an update, I'll let you know as soon as it comes around. Otherwise, if it gets delayed again, I will let you know, but at the moment that's where I'm at. Fingers crossed it comes sooner.